It was genuinely enlightening. The uncle ingeniously crafted a distinctive masterpiece for his 80-year-old father-in-law, utilizing an old discarded shovel. When the final creation was unveiled, the entire village assembled to admire and commend it, referring to the uncle as a genius. The uncle initially discovered a rusty shovel in a heap of scrap metal. Judging by the extent of rust, one could envision the conditions it had endured. He then employed a broom to clean off the rust and followed with a hammer to smoothen the surface of the shovel. To ensure a smooth finish, the shovel was subsequently secured in a vise, and a wire brush was utilized to meticulously polish the rust off the surface of the shovel. Following this, an angle grinder was employed to further polish the surface, effectively removing all traces of rust. The back of the shovel also required polishing, using the identical technique. Upon observing the polished result, it's challenging to envision its prior state. The protruding section at the top of the shovel also required cutting off with the angle grinder. To facilitate subsequent operations, a groove about 20 centimeters long was cut from the middle of the shovel. 2 lines were drawn at the front, and the angle grinder was used again to cut away the unnecessary parts according to the lines, forming a rectangular notch. The cutting process was quite satisfying, and soon the structure seen in the video was achieved. Then the uncle brought out a circular saw blade and 2 circular steel plates. Cover the openings on both sides of the saw blade with steel plates. Utilize welding to secure them together, forming a unified structure. Subsequently, employ a file and an angle grinder to meticulously polish the surface and eliminate any surplus welding material. Then, position a sheet of white paper on top. Apply pressure to capture the rough outline of the steel plate, and use scissors to trim away the excess paper. This enables you to fold the paper to ascertain its center. Following this, position the folded circular paper atop the steel plate, and employ a punch to mark the central point on the steel plate. Dip the drill bit of the hand drill into some lubricant. Drill precise holes at the designated marked points to effectively penetrate the steel plates situated on both sides. Subsequently, switch to a larger drill bit to adequately enlarge the previously drilled holes. Insert the threaded rod through these holes to verify if the saw blade rotates smoothly, then carefully place it within the rectangular cutout of the shovel. Utilize welding to securely fix the threaded rods on both sides and meticulously grind off any excess welding material. Additionally, cut off any surplus threaded rod on both sides. Since the previous handle is no longer usable, a new wooden handle needs to be installed on one end of the shovel. It wasn't hammered into place, and 2 screws need to be inserted at the junction of the shovel and the handle to prevent it from coming loose. Then, apply a layer of anti-rust oil on the surface of the shovel to prevent further oxidation and rusting. So, after the uncle's operation, a unique farming tool is now in front of us. So here comes the question, can you understand what this tool is used for?